Hi guys, it's been a minute. It's good to be back, and it's even gooder to have you. Today we're talking about loss, grief, and how to deal. How do you be there for someone who has lost a loved one, or how do you process grief when you've lost a loved one? Let's start. In the past 2 years, there's been lots of death and loss. And I feel like the world has been engulfed in this grief and pain. And personally, I have experienced that loss and grief in the recent months. And I kept asking myself, like, how are people dealing? How do you deal with this? Like, people are dying left, right, and center. And the pain is too much. So today, I thought I would share with you tips on how to deal with grief and also how to be there for someone who has lost a loved one. So point number one, I have found that it is okay to allow yourself to grieve. When you've lost a loved one, it's definitely painful. So there's no need to cover up by trying to be strong and not showing your emotions, like, you bottle it up. That is dangerous. The best way to go through grief is to allow yourself to grieve. How do you do this? When you've lost a loved one, take time off. Allow yourself to feel the emotions, allow yourself to cry, allow yourself to be angry, and I don't know, whatever response you may have, it is okay, and your emotions are valid. So give yourself that time and chance to grieve, because what you're going through is definitely a painful thing. Talk about it. It's been proven scientifically that talking about the loss of a loved one helps the grieving process. Of course, you're not going to be telling everyone that you find, oh, I lost my what? No. But allow yourself to talk it over with people that you trust. It could be family or a close friend. Talk about the process. It has a healing effect for me. I recently lost my grandma to COVID, and so guys, I was so hurt. But I remember calling my friend and telling her, of course it had been a long battle, she had other illnesses and COVID was like the climax. But when she died, I just remember telling my friend she's gone, and I cried and I talked about it. I told her the details that I knew about her last moments, and as painful as it was in that moment, it was definitely it brought a sense of relief for me, and so yeah, talk about it. It may be painful in the moment, but it definitely has a healing effect. Reminisce about the memories you had with your loved one. I felt like in my recent loss, it was kind of how is it called? It offered kind of a comical relief, I would say, but it really helped to remember the moments I had with my granny, the things about her that I loved. And sometimes in the middle of crying, when I would remember some incidents, I'd actually start laughing. My granny loved meat in all forms. So I was just remembering how she'd be excited, or maybe she would be so sick, and then you buy meat, and she suddenly has the energy to eat. So just looking back on those, on the memories you had together can help. And though I am aware that sometimes it's too painful, like when the pain is too much, you may find the process of looking back at the memories you have may be too painful. So take some time. If you find that revisiting the times you had together is painful, give yourself more time and come back later. So take advantage of your support system. In terms of grief and loss, it's very important to accept help. Because you're going through so much pain at your loss, you're not going to be in a great mental state to do some things, like maybe do the funeral arrangements, plan where you're going to probably leave your kids. Like for me, I remember I was traveling and I was thinking, okay, now where am I going to leave your kids? And a friend actually called me and said, you know what, I can babysit while you travel for burial. So allow help from the people who actually care about you. It will make things a little bit easier for you. Most effective way of going through loss and grief is to take it to God, because God sees you, God knows you, God loves you, and He can handle your pain and grief. It doesn't matter how you're feeling. If you take your raw, honest feelings to God and surrender them to Him, tell Him, you know what, God, I am mad at you. I'm mad that you let my loved one died, I'm disappointed that you didn't heal, I'm mad that after all this investment emotionally and financially it ends like this. Whatever way you're feeling, take it to God. He can handle it and he'll comfort you, he will strengthen you, and somehow he will just lead you to that light in the dark tunnel. So take it to God. He cares for you, and God is not a stranger to loss and pain. He also lost his beloved son Jesus Christ on the cross. So he'll be there with you. Take it to him and allow him to move the journey with you. Sometimes grief can lead you to severe cases where maybe you might find yourself getting depressed and dealing with anxiety and just, you know, things like that, mental health issues. So if you feel like you've reached that point where you're sliding into depression, especially if the person you've lost has been a really, really close person, please reach out for help. Figure out a way of accessing professional help, get counseling. There are so many religious organizations that offer free counseling, churches, and reach out, talk to someone. It is always going to make you feel better when you talk to someone, especially if they are professionals at counseling. They'll figure out a way to help you deal with the pain and yeah, things like that. You can do therapy, you can look for a support group. There are support groups for people who are dealing with loss. So you can identify those things and just get help. Do not allow yourself to slide into darkness alone. People are always going to be willing to help you. So another thing that has helped me in this time is to be present in the moment, to look at what I have left, because you can be so consumed by what you've lost that you kind of forget the people around you that are still there, the loved ones. For me, I just be there and I just want space. I don't want to hear my kids talk. I don't want my husband to say anything. I just wanted space. And at some point I was like, okay, I'm mourning the dead, but I still have these people here. Maybe I should just focus on them because I don't know how long I have with them. Choosing to be present in the moment and appreciate the people who are still with me on earth has really helped. I mean, it's hard, but it at least helps me to cope. So yeah, try it out. Finally, with time, of course, after you've gone through all these other emotions, anger, disappointment, pain, allow yourself to go back to doing the things that you love. I feel like my life has been on a pause for like about 6 weeks. I've just not been myself, and the other day I just chose to go back to doing the things that I love, and one of them is recording these videos. I had paused because I felt like, why should I even post, blah, blah, blah. But then I told myself, you know what, Aaron, start again. Your loved ones would really want you to move on with your life and enjoy it and make the most of it. They wouldn't want you to stay there mourning and all, because they wish you well and love you. So go back to doing the things that you love. If it's reading, if it's writing, take a walk, whatever it is, go back to doing it. And little by little, taking each day at a time, of course, little by little, God will somehow enable you to get to a point where the pain is, I think, less or bearable each day, right? The second part of the video, I want us to talk about how to be there for someone who has lost a loved one. Like, for example, your friend, your workmate has lost a loved one. What do? The first thing is to offer your condolences. Say things like, I'm deeply sorry for your loss, may God comfort you, and things like that. Just acknowledge their loss and offer your sympathy. Another thing is to ask how you can be of help, because the person will definitely have things to do and organize. So if you offer help, it makes their load lighter. And then the things you must avoid saying when someone has lost a loved one are statements like these things of saying, oh, she's in a better place, at least she was old, it was time to go, she was in so much pain. I mean, no matter how right they are, they can be so annoying, guys. So keep it to yourself and give the person some space to process their grief. You can talk about it later, like as time has passed. But for when loss and grief is raw, just keep quiet. Offer your condolences and be there quietly. Offer your presence to the person. They will appreciate you. That's it. I hope the video has added some value to you. Thank you for watching, and I pray that God comforts every one of you that is dealing with loss and grief. Thank you for watching. Bye. Allow yourself to feel the emotions. Okay, go there. There, then sit and sleep there near Mama. Here, while Mom is seeing you. Mama loves you.